I've never been so happy with a movie in my life. There's a certain pressure that comes with doing a sequel that is always kind of terrifying. Actually, I can't say always. I don't really have a lot of experience with sequels, so doing something like this I'm relieved because the movie turned out so well, but it's also, in some ways, shooting this film was more fun because we're not labored with this origin story and having to create all of this expositional dialogue to kind of introduce an audience to this guy. We can sort of just spread our wings and fly and tell stories that we really want to tell, one of which being Cable and Domino and this team and this idea of family. So I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely, utterly thrilled. He somehow, some way sort of finds some sort of redemption in this kid and projects some of his own kind of, his own kind of, whatever Deadpool's lacking, he kind of projects it onto this kid and feels like maybe I need to do something about this. He's just never going to be an Avenger. He's never going to be a guy who's like, let's go save the world. He's going to be a guy that's like, let's go save this kid, even at the cost of the entire world. So it creates an interesting paradox between Cable and Deadpool and their wants. Josh is like one of those guys that, you can't believe his movies aren't on TCM because he's so iconic, and he sort of drags around this proverbial bag of rocks with him that feels like he's ripped right out of a Sam Shepard novel or a John Fonte novel or something. He just sort of feels like this timeless character, and we liked that Cable felt kind of timeless in that way. I mean, certainly from the future, when you look at his arm and the technovirus which is taking over and has affected his eye and his body and his back, but Josh brings such a weight to everything he does, and I thought that works so beautifully counterpoint to Deadpool, who brings a true childlike glee to everything. I mean, Deadpool at his heart is a 15-year-old boy. He's just so good, and he's so smart about it all, and really hooked into each one of the characters. And I think in a way, he's been an actor, he's been a stuntman, he's done all these different jobs in the entertainment industry, so he's really seasoned without having done a lot of movies. So you have this guy who's super seasoned but isn't cynical in any way, and it kind of makes him perfect for Deadpool. He, in some ways, is Deadpool, in some ways he's Cable, in some ways he's Domino, and then in some ways he's Colossus. He's he's Dad, he's that guy. So it was just a joy. He was just such a joy to work with and watch. In the first film, Deadpool a lot of the people he's going up against are just ND bad guys. They're nondescript bad guys, and it's a lot of shooting and long distance kind of stuff. This was a lot more knife fights up close and visceral, neck veins popping out and real stakes. And I love that about it. And particularly the fights between Cable and Deadpool were very intense and close quarters. And it's important because when you're close quarters, you get that interaction with each other. Zazie Beetz, who's playing her, is just so funny and so charming. And I remember when we were back way long ago in pre-production, we were looking for our Domino, and it was such an important character to cast. I think we'd read 30 different women for the role, and as soon as Zazie walked in, it was over. I mean, I think she was halfway through her first page of dialogue, and I remember looking over it at one of the other producers, and Rhett and Paul, and just going this is the one. And Dave Leitch was just nodding his head in the back, yep. So.